In this video of the Pair Matcher, we're going to show you how to analyze a sector or industry. So what you do is you grab your symbols from your Excel spreadsheet like I have right here. These happen to be the residential REITs. So you copy those. You paste those in the input symbols window. Then you go to your tools menu. You go to configure scan results and you set up your filter criteria. So in this case, I want to look for pairs that do not exceed a maximum spread of 30% on the starting from date. So I'll not only apply the color, but I'll apply the filter right here. And then I want to look for pairs that don't exceed 20% on the year, 15%, 17% on the 6 months. And so I'll just leave those highlighted and not apply the filter. I'll also change the maximum move to 100%. The final pair ratio, I want that at 5:1, and I'll go ahead and apply the filter to that. And then minimum co-integration, I'll leave that at 15, crosses 1, and minimum variable crosses to 175. I'm going to go ahead and show all of the key statistics here too. So we go ahead and click OK. Then we go to the Tools menu again and go to Options. In here are the settings for the standard deviation look-back period and the look-back period for the variable crossing count. I have those defaulted to 20 days. So we'll just leave those at that, and I have my standard deviation multiplier set to 1 standard deviation, which is what this value represents. So that means that every day that it finds a peak, it'll look for a pullback of 1 standard deviation from that peak, or a pullback of 1 standard deviation from the trough. So I go ahead and click OK. Then I click Run Scan. And as you notice in the program, it starts downloading the data right here if it doesn't already have it. So go ahead and wait for that to complete. Once that is completed, it'll display all of your results in the results window down here. It'll also show a snapshot of the whole sector at this point. And you see the sector is fairly correlated and fairly co-integrated, which we already knew, being it's a REIT sector. So in here, we'll then go down and sort by our different results. I like to sort by the co-integration and start from the highest values in there. And we'll go ahead and look at this first pair. The way we pull it up is we'll just select it, we'll hit the space bar. That will pull it up in the 4 charts window. In here, it'll display those results in the way that you sorted it in your main window. So right here we have EQR and CLP, and as you look, it looks like it's starting to spread a little bit. And so if I have that on my list, I can hit delete, and that will remove it off my list. If it's not on my list, we'll get an error message right here saying that it is not on your selected pairs list, so we can't remove it. We go to the next pair, the next pair, next pair, next pair. This one looks fairly correlated and fairly co-integrated. The way I can tell this is if you look at the 3 months worth of data, you see how it crosses quite a bit. The 1 month, it crosses almost twice. The 6 months looks like it spreads a little bit, but if you look at the spread, it's not that much. It's only about, the maximum spread is only 8.26%, so that makes a good pair. So if I want to add it to my pairs list, I would just go ahead and hit the insert key. If it's already in my pairs list, it'll go ahead and give me a notification, let me know that it's already there. And so what you do is you just use the arrow keys. You go through each and every pair that was on the list, sorted by your co-integration value, if that's what you chose to sort by, and you add them to your list. So like this is an example of a pair that just constantly spreads that I personally wouldn't trade. In the program, you're also able to look at the standard deviation chart. If you're in the main chart window, the main Pair Matcher window, what you can do is use the arrow keys again, and then you hit the space bar. That'll pull up each one. That way you can show how high the standard deviation gets for each pair. In this window, you need to hit the space bar to pull it up. It'll show the standard deviation normalized back to the starting from date. And it's based off of the normalized ratio starting from the starting from date. You can adjust these columns to the different sizes. You can switch them around so that you have them in different areas. And then over here you have all of the fundamental data. The way the fundamental data is displayed, the first pair is displayed first, The second pair is after a comma. So in this case, just go ahead and drag the market cap over here, put it next to the pair. EQR is 18.09 billion and CLP is 1.96 billion. Likewise with the sectors. It shows that they're both in the financial sector, and then in the industry, it shows that they're both in the residential REIT. Just a word of warning, in the input symbols window, if you're analyzing a sector or industry, do not put more than about 300 symbols. This depends on your computer and your processing power. 300 symbols will give about 45,000 different combinations, so you can imagine how many more you'll get the more symbols you add. So keep that to 300 symbols. Okay, this concludes our analyzing of an industry or sector.